Hello, I'm Jeremy, and today I'm going to show you a game called Die Luft in der Gruft, which is the German title for a game that has been published in America as Dawn Under. The German version also does come with English rules if you're looking for it. It is out of print, so you might need to pick up a used copy, whether it's the German version or the US version. This game was published by Zoc in, I believe, 2003 or 2004, and it plays in about 20 minutes or so for players ages 6 and up, and it plays for 2 to 6 players. It's a clever memory game where you're going to be looking at a graveyard full of coffins, and you'll have a set of vampires that you're trying to assign to those coffins before dawn. So the first player to get rid of all their vampires, either by assigning them to those coffins or to another player, would be the winner. I'll take a moment to show you the components and the rules of the game, and then I'll come back and give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so this is Dawn Under, and this is what the game would look like at the start. There are 60 of these graves, which have these coffin lids on them, and those coffin lids are basically of different colors that will correspond to the color of these vampires. Each player is going to get an equal number of these vampire tiles, depending on the number of players. They will put them all face down and then flip the 2 outermost tiles on each end of the row. And the object is to be the first person to get all of their vampires either hidden away in the grave before morning or given to another player. The first player who's going to manage that will win. Each player will also get 3 of these garlic tokens in their color. And the way that this game works is pretty simple. Essentially what you're going to be doing is each turn flipping over a tile, hopefully matching the color of one of the vampires on your end. These 2 you cannot match, they're just to tell you what you should be looking for next as you see players miss when they're trying to flip over a tile. So, for example, if I flipped over this tile here, this would be a green tile. It would not match my red or blue vampire. So, I would be able to just replace it back into my turn, or if I wanted to, I could hide one of my garlic tokens in that grave and cover it up. And those essentially function as a trap. Let's say it was the next player's turn and they completely forgot that I did that, or they sometime in the future they flip up this grave. They would look to see if the color matched. Regardless of whether or not this color matched their vampire, however, the grave is occupied by the garlic. I would then get to give one of my vampires to that other player, and I get to take the piece of garlic back and replant it again. So that's one way you're going to get rid of vampires. Let's just say it's back to my turn again, and I flip one again. Here I've gotten a red coffin, which matches my red vampire. So I'd be able to place my vampire in there, and then hide it by placing the coffin back on there. Now that I would flip over my next tile inward, I have another red vampire here that I have to hide. And because I successfully did this, I would be able to keep playing. If you make a correct match, you're able to keep going. Let's say on another player's turn, or even one of my turns in the future, I flip this over and I find a vampire in the grave that would be already occupied. Then I would be forced to take one of these stake markers. So there are these wooden stake markers. I would keep that in front of me. So if ever I take a third one of these wooden stakes, that's really bad, because then every other player will get to give me a vampire, which I would have to add to one of the ends of my row. So this game is just going to go on like that, with me looking at a tile, hopefully hiding a vampire when I do that, or perhaps planting some garlic so people will be able to take my vampires from me. There's one other wrinkle in the game, and let's see if I can find one. Oh, I absolutely did. That's amazing. So this is a rat token, and whenever you flip one of those up, it will begin a rat plague. And the way that those work is that you, as the active player who starts a rat plague, will be able to flip up all of the tiles around it, as long as you... And so, for example, if I flip this one up, it would be a green one. Normally, that wouldn't match one of mine, so my turn would end. But now I could, still plant a garlic if I want to, or choose not to plant a garlic. Flip, and then actually that stays up. And then I could choose to continue to pick other tiles next to the rat. So if I chose that one there, again, it wouldn't match, but I'd still be able to keep going. If I chose that one there, it wouldn't match. And if I chose that one there, it wouldn't match. But I would be able to check out more tiles at once. If ever you, in a rat plague, so after the rat plague ends, then you would replace all tiles. Normally, let's see if we can find another rat. Okay, let's say here's a, and then after the rat plague ends, you take the rat out, and you replace it with one of these extra tiles that was there at the start of the game, so this would not be a rat. Then, on another player's turn, let's say they find this rat, and they keep going, They would look here, and here we go. They hit another rat. If you ever hit another rat, this one will get taken out, this will get replaced, this will get replaced, and then your turn would end, and the next player would begin with a rat plague around this rat. So that's how those work. And essentially the game is that simple. You're just going to be trying to store away all of your vampires before any other player does, either, again, by hiding them in a coffin or by giving them to another player. The first player to do that will be the winner. Alright, so that is Dawn Under. I think, as you could see from the explanation, that really recalls the classic children's games memory or concentration, depending on where you grew up. But it does a better job than that at engaging players. Even adults, I find, enjoy this game. The game, it plays from 2 to 6. There's special variant rules with 2, but with 3, 4, 5, or 6, it plays really well. And you'd be surprised at how even adults have a hard time remembering where everything is on the board. It is challenging to remember that many things, at least for most players. The game, it has an amazing board, which has that 2 layers, so you could hide people within the ditches in the graveyard, and that's really unique, and it adds to the fun factor of the game for sure. Also, the notion that you're putting people in graves and whatnot, that's really clever as well. And the art is filled with lots of great little touches, like within the graves you see little pictures of board games or various things that the vampires had. So the game is really fun. It's a game that you can play with children, a game that you can play with adults, or a game that you can play with a mix of children and adults without either side really necessarily having an advantage. So, I won't try to sell it as something that it's not. It's not, a deeply strategic game, but it is a lot of fun for what it is, and it's probably one of the best memory games that is available on the market, or that was available on the market. Like I said, you'll probably need to track down a used copy. So that caveat aside, I would definitely recommend Die Luft in der Gruft or Dawn Under. So thanks for watching.